It is Friday. He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen Jacoby. Tell me, what is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
We have an update on where James Harden might play basketball this season. We have the Raiders blowing their playoff chances last night, but we start with some breaking news. Drew Brees, after breaking 11 ribs and puncturing his lung, is going to play Sunday in New Orleans against the Chiefs after we saw the Taysom Hill experiment last for 4 games. Jalen, what do you think about this decision for Drew Brees to play and how it impacts this game?
I'm a highly trained professional, Jacoby. You know, I went to college for mass media, radio, TV, film, so I'm forced to play a doctor on television. You might not believe this. When I was young, I actually thought I was Dr. J. I even signed my autographs as such. Everybody used to laugh at me. And the reason why I bring this up is, what did you say happened to Drew Brees? Did you say
he broke had 11 ribs? 11 ribs. Broke them.
Let me just say this. If he broke 11 ribs and he punctured a lung and he coming back to play a football game in 4 to 6 weeks, he got a special anointing, dog. Like, forget football, he got a higher calling. You know, if he coming back from that injury. With that being said, I mean, their offense is going to be explosive. It was great to see Michael Thomas start getting some catches, start getting some yards. Alvin Kamara wasn't as effective, clearly, with Taysom Hill on the center. Now I expect him to go back to being a dual threat. They're the best trio in football, sets of triplets. Hopefully their defense now can get back to playing the way we expect them to play after getting shredded by Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia. We'll see how they come out and if they respond to that loss last week.
I would say the trio in Green Bay is better, but we don't have to argue that now because I want to turn our attention to the other side of the ball, which is the Kansas City Chiefs and their weapons, especially a gentleman by the name of Travis Kelce. Jalen, let's celebrate Mr. Kelce's accomplishments because as much as he is praised, he does not get enough.
There are times in my life, Jacoby, believe it or not, I actually had a tight end. There are times in my life I actually had one. I'm getting back to it. And the reason why I bring that up is one of my favorite positions. So when I see guys like Waller and Kelce, it just reminds me of throwbacks like Ozzie Newsome and Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp, you know, Antonio Gates, some of my favorite people that I watch play the position all of the years I've been watching football.
Did you just make a tight end pun joke? Did you just make a tight end pun joke in the year 2020 and think that was original and funny? Oh, God, it is so Friday here today. Well, Jalen, I'm going to bring up something I brought up on Monday, and that is the Chiefs' margin of victory in the past 5 games. They are easily head and shoulders, not just the best team in the AFC, but the best team in the NFL, yet they always end up just kind of sort of squeaking out these victories. Drew Brees back in New Orleans with fans, limited number of fans in the Dome. I am picking the Saints with the upset. Their defense is excellent. I know they kind of got beaten up by Jalen Hurts and the Eagles last week, but in the Dome, the Chiefs just kind of sort of just pull it out at the end of the game. I'm going the Saints in an upset over the Chiefs.
I got you, dog. Like I said, Travis Kelce has a chance, Jacoby, to be the first tight end to lead the league in reception yards. He's going to go crazy this week. The Chiefs, in fast forward, they find a way to still get it done.
That is clearly the marquee game in this NFL Sunday, and we'll preview a lot of other ones. But first, we have to turn our attention to the National Basketball Association, where we have an update on James Harden. 2 things. Number 1, the Rockets have expanded the number of teams that they would discuss a potential trade with beyond the Nets and the 76ers to other contenders. And we have word that the Sixers would be maybe kind of sort of willing to part with Ben Simmons in a package for James Harden. Jalen, what do you think about those 2 updates on James Harden's future?
I love those updates and that professional reporting. You remember when the Washington Wizards came out and said that they weren't going to move John Wall? And then you look up a couple of weeks later, they moved John Wall. Yes, I knew James Harden was getting moved on the basketball floor. When he returned, they won the tip, and John Wall crossed half court with the basketball. Trust me, for a guy that's led this league 3 straight times in scoring. You know, the only other guys that do that consecutive seasons were Gerd, the Iceman, MJ, Ernest, and Kevin Durant. Like, he's in that category. He's a fantastic offensive weapon, Jacoby, but he just handled his trade request improperly with the squad. You're supposed to come back, be on time, be in shape, play top basketball, and then now the other squads like Philly and or the Nets that you put in pole position, they can try to grab you. Now they've opened it up to the rest of the league. So Pat Riley on the phone now and other people that's trying to sniff around to see if they can get him. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but he'll definitely get moved.
One thing I find interesting about the 76ers being willing to part with Ben Simmons is this quote from Daryl Morey. Do you remember him? Like Tommy Shepard before him said, "We are not trading Ben Simmons. He's an important part of our future." Jalen, if they end up trading him, what does this look like for Daryl Morey?
So apples and oranges, even though they seem like they're the same. When you're Washington and you're a team that didn't make the playoffs, and we know Bradley Beal and Wall didn't ever see eye to eye the way they should to maximize their talent. And we talked about John Wall's offseason and how once, he was videoed that I felt like that was going to be his exodus from Washington. This situation is vastly different. You bring in Daryl Morey, you bring in Doc Rivers for validity to your audience and to your fans. So Ben Simmons is a young prospect, Jacoby, that's been an all-NBA player. So you got to be careful when you speak into the microphone because you're earning the trust of the people and you're earning the trust of the locker room. And if you say you're not going to move Ben Simmons, you can't necessarily jump up next week and move Ben Simmons. Because a lot of his fans and a lot of people who don't like the move, they're going to, A, not necessarily trust your word because you just lied into a microphone, because it's sometimes your job to do, but B, you could just avoid the entire thing and say, we love what we're doing right now. We're trying to build on what we have. And if the best deal approaches, we'll deal with it. But when you say you're not going to move him, there are most people and people in your locker room that heard that he's not being moved. So either we need to listen to what he's saying and he's not going to be moved, or we're going to look back and feel like we were told a lie.
Well, honestly, the Simmons plus some pieces for Harden deal seems like on paper it works for both sides. We will see if it happens, but I don't see any other natural dance partner for the Rockets to move Harden aside from them. Moving on to last night's NFL football game. The Las Vegas Raiders needed this one, Jalen. They needed this one for their playoffs hopes. Everything was on the line for the Raiders in this game. And what did they do, Jay?
So
they lost
here's
the game.
The thing, dog. Yeah. Dog.
They lost the game.
So for those that don't know, our producer, Demetrius, is a diehard Raiders fan. And they're just a tick better than the Lions. He just doesn't realize it. And so when I told him that the Raiders
ever said about the Raiders
weren't going to make the playoffs, he was in shock. The music stopped. Can you stop the music at the club, Reg or Tanner? He stopped the music. Like, are you serious? I'm like, dog, have you been watching your team the last 5 weeks? They lost 4 of those games and should have lost to the Jets. Fired their defensive coordinator. They lost their quarterback in the first quarter yesterday. Waller's a beast. Jacobs is an animal. I love both of them as young prospects. But this is not a playoff team. Look, he's wide open, Jacoby. You know what that receiver's name is?
He had to stop.
You know what his name is? You know what his name is? Jalen strikes again, D. He strikes again.
The Raiders defense did not look great yesterday, and they had a chance to win. At the end of the game, they kicked like a 75-yard field goal. It was one of the most curious decisions I've ever seen. It was just like, what? When they brought out the kicker, I'm sitting there in my bed like, what? Wait. What are they trying to do here? Like, they're going to a fake field goal at the end of the game?
I know I'm old school and I watch too much of this stuff because I was literally at the studio in South Seaport. When they said this, I was like, do they think they got Jan Stenerud? I was literally trying to think of the kicker that had a half a foot that played a long time in the league because I'm like, this getting blocked. There's no way this is going in. It was like a comedy of errors by both teams at the end of the game.
It really was. It seems like Anthony Lynn tries new and inventive ways to lose football games at the end, and this time he was just outdueled by a man who wore the wrong hat. We can't say enough about this. Like, John Gruden actually walked on the field with an Oakland Raiders hat on and then said it was a prank that was pulled on him or whatever. And let's not forget, he used to coach the Oakland Raiders. Did he just have this one in the closet, or do you believe that he was really duped by someone in the organization?
No, dog. Let me tell you something. my guy John Gruden got his ears to the street. And he knows Oakland is the Bay on fire right now.
Versus battle.
He can't be on national TV with a hat that says Las Vegas with the words Raiders under it. Not just yet. Short was on the show yesterday. He and E40, the goon with the spoon, got a versus this weekend. You know the entire country going to be hypey this weekend. We're going to be saying hella. We're going to be saying dank. We're going to be representing the Bay to the fullest. John Gruden knows this. So therefore, he had to rock a hat to say Oakland.
John Gruden is just excited for the E42 short versus battle on Saturday, so he had to come out with the Oakland Raiders hat. And then when someone noticed, they made him switch it. Good for John Gruden. Always got his ear to the streets. Always got his ear to the streets. However, he will not have his ear in the playoffs because they tried to kick an 80-yard field goal and then lost the game to the Chargers. Whew. It is time for some very important news that matters. Jalen, one of the greatest artistic achievements of our species, of course, is the film. Not the movie, the film coming to America. And the sequel is soon upon us. What you're looking at is an image from Coming to America 2. Jalen, how hype are you for the sequel to Coming to America?
Hey, dog, this is an all-time classic. This is one of those things like rap music that we was trying to keep into the community for ourselves, and then mainstream America just got exposed to it. Coming to America, man, Eddie Murphy, it's great that they're redoing this flick. I can't wait to check it out. It's going to be historic. And by the way, Jacoby, you always get on me about knowing movie plots. It's funny, you didn't ask me to plot to this one. You figure I know, huh?
No. Here's the thing is I know if it's all black people in the cast, you know every single plot point in the film. However, if it features people that look like me, you just have some sort of like recollection based on what the title says.
So therefore, I want to flip the script. Can you name me one or two characters in Coming to America?
All right. First of all, I know the full plot to Coming to America, and I'm personally disrespected by that question. That hurts. I thought we were friends. I really thought we were friends. Gob's upset. Go to break. Go to break before we get in a fight.
Name one of the characters.
This is our first hold me back moment of the 2021 season in the NBA. This time it is Thomas Bryant and Blake Griffin. Jalen, commentate what you see before you.
Well, Bryant trying to get position on Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin doesn't want him to get a layup. Blake Griffin has a guaranteed contract, been playing a lot of years, and he uses his body weight against him, and he throws him down, and then hold me back after that. And you know right now during COVID, y'all got to put on some masks. Y'all going to be getting that close now.
I do like the way Blake Griffin handled that. He just laughed at him the whole time. Like, he wasn't trying to be a tough guy and like try to go nose to nose or say, meet me outside. He was just like, you know, we all know what this is going to result in. This is going to result in absolutely nothing. So you might as well save yourself your breath and your energy because nothing is going to happen from this. And also that might be the only time that we show the Pistons the entire season because I don't know what y'all are doing with that franchise, but it might be worse than the Lions. Moving on. We actually have some Kawhi Leonard information. Well, as you know, a gentleman is claiming that Jerry West owes him $2.5 million for his involvement in bringing Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers. Kawhi said that man had nothing to do with me coming here, meaning Kawhi to the Clippers. What do you think of this story, Jalen?
Jacoby always says everybody's a hero in their own movie. So therefore, if he sent an email, if he sent a text, if he had one phone conversation, that's valid. But Jacoby, I can't front like I mentioned on here before, and I got some very credible people in my phone. I'm not saying that he's the lead domino by any stretch of the imagination, but at one point in time, he had some level of support and or involvement, allegedly, to Kawhi potentially getting hooked up with West and getting further hooked up with the Clippers and then making sure they kind of knew what to say in the meeting type of thing. So again, I think you're going to see this get settled out of court.
Well, Jalen, since you quoted me, I will quote you. Whether it's 1% or 99%, he probably had some involvement. Where it falls in that spectrum, we will never know. But it's somewhere on that spectrum. And if he had some influence, or if he even gave him Uncle Dennis's number, or told him that maybe Paul George was a possibility, even if it was 1% of influence over Kawhi Leonard coming to the Clippers, you will see a settlement happen out of court. Moving on to the NFL weekend, we have the Browns looking to get 10 wins against the Giants. That is the Sunday night game. Keep moving, hit the brakes.
Browns going to have double-digit wins after this weekend. Baker's been playing really well the last couple of weeks. Keep it moving.
Sure has.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Jalen, we picked the Cardinals as our team before the season started. They need this win Sunday afternoon in Arizona against Jalen Hurts-led Eagles. Will our Cardinals get this win that they need so desperately?
I think so. And you know what they did last week that I'd like to see them do more often? Is actually feed D-Hop. Because what ends up happening is when you have so many weapons and Kyler can do so many things, you end up spreading the football around. Like they did it last week. I think they could do it this week. I can't wait to see he and Slay go head-to-head. I feel like the Cardinals find a way to win, even though it's, oh, man, I don't want to pick against 3 Jalens. That's blasphemy.
No, they're going to win. They're going to win. Here's what happened. No one really said it out loud, but Kyler Murray was hurt for like 5 weeks in a row. But last week, he looked like the old Kyler Murray. I think the Cardinals take this one pretty easily. And then we have an AFC East showdown. Usually the Patriots are on top of the division and the Dolphins are trying to upset their playoff hopes. This time it's a little bit the other way around. However, the Bills are on top of the division. Keep moving and hit the brakes. Patriots, Dolphins.
I'm looking forward to watching this game more so to see how the Patriots, though a different football team, still Bill Belichick respond to being bounced last year basically by the Dolphins and having a rookie QB. Keep it moving for now.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Another divisional game. This time it is Tampa Bay against the Falcons. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes for us. Hit the brakes.
Jalen, I can't tell if the Buccaneers are the best team in the NFC or are a complete mess. I have no idea where they are. Tell me, are they a good playoff team or are they going to have to make some serious changes this offseason?
They're good, but Jacoby, I feel like almost like the Clippers in the NBA for different reasons. So many changes in one offseason, it's tough for a team to put it all together and win the Super Bowl that same year. You know, the Saints have had heartbreaking losses to end their season the last couple of years. And you know you got wild cards anytime you got Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson on your team. So based on that, I think the Bucs do find a way to get this win. But they still got to play a lot better and a lot more balanced.
Okay. Jalen, the Lions, one of your only chances to watch them play because they ain't making the playoffs. Oh, okay. We'll go to the Lions and the Titans. They play the Titans. How much do you think they're going to lose by? 22 to 30 points is what I would say.
Here's the only thing about this weekend. Like, we once had Megatron. They kind of have their version now in A.J. Brown. Right, we have had Billy Sims and Barry Sanders. They got Derrick Henry. And you know what I fear is defensive backs trying to run up on Derrick Henry. Like,
don't do it.
That's a problem waiting to happen, dog. And so he's going for 2,000 this year. For those that haven't paid attention, he has an opportunity to not only break Eric Dickerson's record, but to get 2,000 yards. I'm scared that he's going to try to get 200 of them yards, Jacoby, against us this weekend.
He's going for 2,000. He needs to average 156 in the next 3 games to get there, and he's got his eye on the Lions defense. He's going to be stiff-arming everybody. I can't wait till Louis Riddick gets hired because finally we'll have some intelligence and some balance in that front office, and maybe something good will happen for the Detroit Lions because it's been so long. When we come back, not just games on Sunday, it is Conference Championship weekend. We'll preview the biggest game in the ACC. On the ESPN Networks, ESPN2 at 8 o'clock, it is the Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics. And then in the nightcap at 10:30, the Lakers take on the Suns on ESPN. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, that is Ian Book leading the Irish over Clemson. During the regular ACC season, they meet in the ACC Championship. Can the Irish, led by Book, pull off the upset?
It's going to be a lot closer than some people may realize since Trevor Lawrence's return. And as a Midwesterner, a longtime Michigan Wolverine fan, I got a profound respect for Notre Dame football, whether it's Tim Brown, Rocket Ismail. I was at a game when he returned 2 touchdowns of this game when Desmond did the catch. I think, however, Clemson finds a way to get their revenge this weekend.
Jalen, as we head into the weekend, we wanted to celebrate some high school football. Take a look at Doug Brooks from Shiner High School. Look at this stiff arm from the big running back. Look at this. Get off me. That is an
Absolutely.
assault.
Doug out there giving Shiner this Jerome Bettis. Looking like the bus out there. Looking like Derrick Henry, Earl Campbell.
I just love the head coach being like, you know what? I don't think everyone can tackle this guy. Let's just make him the running back and see what happens. And it paid off. You can see Jalen tonight on NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock. You can see us next Monday at 2 p.m. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you listen to our podcast and stay safe.